Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. We have witnessed both the good and the evil in Hollywood, and the unsightly. However, if you ever bring up the Godfather to anyone, there may be. Al Pacino, the veteran, is the only A-lister star, has received numerous honors. Numerous honors over the years that had him embarking on a lifelong journey. Yet surprisingly, the lifestyle of this performer is far more depressing than you may imagine for today's. We'll examine the life and times in this video of Al Pacino, which we will share later with you. An unexpected change in the life of the Scarface actor before he was the renowned actor's godfather. A modest beginning. Therefore, let's look in his early years. The aspiring actor was born in Manhattan, New York, on April 25, 1940. York as the sole Alfredo James Pacino. His parents are Rose and Salvatore Pacino. Their parents were of Italian and Sicilian heritage, who came to the US with the intention of better future, but regrettably, their brief marriage ended in divorce. Thus, the 2-year-old Pacino resided with his maternal grandparents in growing up in the South Bronx during You Had to Be Tough this time, so that Sonny got into a fight is hardly surprising. Many altercations with the local youths. There is no doubting the young as they grow up. Pacino's plea. He discovered, in the company of pals who enjoy making calls, Sonny, and even gained notoriety as the actor at such an early age. In contrast to who he is now, the actor of the future had aspirations of playing baseball, eventually. But it was rather obvious that acting was his vocation even back then. Like Pacino has a difficult time with many kids actually concentrating on his studies. He just went to English classes. In junior high, Herman Riddler, he tried his hand until he dropped out at acting and was able to get accepted at the Performing Arts High School. To the dismay of his mother, the mother and son argued, which resulted into Pacino, who was young, leaving him without support. He made the decision to take a number of occupations ranging from messenger to janitor to make ends meet since he departed from his mother's home at a young age. Pacino was exposed and lacked direction to many factors as a child. Can you think that he had already started smoking, and he started drinking when he was 9 years old? And additionally, he experimented with the recreational usage of Mary Jane. Fortunately, he refrained from taking involvement in hard drug use, which in certain ways saved his life. This is because that 2 of his best pals passed away. Upon this, he derived his justification for not. He focused his emphasis on the issue, acting, and discovered that he liked it. Attempted to work at the actor's studio believing he had a chance to work for them since he was performing in theater already. At the underground scene in New York, regretfully, he was not selected, although he continued to pursue his interest despite everything. He thus attempted to audition at HB Studio, where he received a warm greeting. He developed his skills here under the praise of Charlie Elton, who turned into his best friend and acting instructor. It was a quite difficult period for him to live in the streets at a friend's house or in a theater residences. Yet he persisted throughout life. Through Al Pacino and him, a curveball, experienced one of the darkest moments of his life, the unexpected passing of his mother. Then his mother came along. When his grandfather passed away, he nearly went into a depressive state, but thankfully he released all of his strong feelings into acting-focused activities. After spending 4 years with the emerging HB Studio, the actor made the decision to give it another go. He entered the actor's studio this time. Specifically, it was under their direction. Lee Strasberg, an acting coach, who assisted Al Pacino, enhances his already outstanding craft. He also learned about it here, technique performing, that allowed him to obtain enhanced comprehension of his characters, causing him to arouse a stronger acting performance. Who knew that? Occasionally, a homeless man from the South Bronx would flourish and turn into one of the best performers of his day, all in due time. However, Al Pacino's early professional life was the result of cooperation with a few of the most remarkable individuals he might encounter, equipped with the lessons learned from both Latone and Pacino. Strasberg began to land one duty after another, and his efforts were rewarded. Off due to Pacino's performance commitments. At the Charles Playhouse in Boston, Helen did 2 parts, including one in Clifford O'Day, Jean-Claude Van Itali's Awake, and Singhara from America. Of the 2, the former secured the actor's first significant salary of $125 a week. He was in his early 20s when theatre, and continued the conversation with his most significant activity at the time was in the name of Israel. Horowitz's Is Sugar Plum? Al Pacino got his first honor, Best Actor Obie Award, thanks to Pacino's acting abilities in this play, were observed directly by Martin Bregman. His performance impressed the two formed a collaboration with Bregman acting as his manager and giving him advice to assume the most significant, a role in his life that altered the course of his career. Pacino then proceeded to a larger stage and debuted on Broadway. In the article Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie?, he received a Tony Award for his performance, which encouraged him to take on additional difficult parts. He also received a Tony recognition for his efforts on the foundational training of a drama desk. And Pavlo Hamelal Puchchino's award by the early 1990s had already made a name for himself as a leading figure in the field, causing him to switch between roles in theatre and movies. His first motion picture was a short participation in the 1969 motion picture Me, Natalie soon after, his feature flick debut in the Panic's 1971 release. Several of these titles are Needle Park, long forgotten but preserved for the committed admirers of the performer. But what actually solidified his reputation in Hollywood is the actor was unaware about the following project, that following his role in his debut feature film, his next endeavor would propel him to new heights. Al Pacino's path to global success landed Michael Corleone's part in The Godfather by Francis Coppola. But you're aware of Pacino's purchase of Thoroughly wasn't simple, particularly because the management wasn't really thrilled with the new movie star, considering that Pacino only had one credit for a feature picture. The name of the then head of Robert, a production of Paramount Pictures, Evans was determined to create The Godfather, is a huge hit. To do this, he desired a large person, literally, and trying to portray the part, but Coppola insisted that Pacino portray the possibly surpassing some of the other roles' prominent selections, such as Jack Nicholson. A comparison between Robert Redford and Warren Beatty Pacino appeared too short to them. Of Evans and the other supervisors, following a heated discussion, and a great deal of Pacino went back and forth until he finally had the Michael Corleone's role for himself, and this proved to be among the best casts ever created for his performance, for which Pacino received an Academy Award for an award for supporting acting, which offended the actor, which makes sense, due to the fact that his co-star Marlon Brando spent more time on the screen. Many thought it reached Pacino's trepidation over Brando's nomination for the Academy Award winner for Best Actor in the ultimately. Both men chose to abstain from the award ceremony. As previously stated, Pacino felt as a supporting actor award insulted nominee, although there aren't any reliable explanations on why Brando was, moreover, ultimately failed to show up for the award show. Local tabloids blamed it on the fact that there was no rapport between the two actors. Possibly knew him for a long time, distinctive parts, although Al Pacino is also renowned for playing several nearly roles, which proved to be iconic and helped propel many movie stars' reputations. To start, Han Solo is in Star Wars by George Lucas, which finally touched down on Harrison Ford's lap. Pacino defended himself by saying he didn't, understanding the movie's script mostly due to the fact that it is science fiction. He rejected these as well, close third-type encounters and the end of the world. Now surprisingly, he was also selected to play the male lead in Beverly Hills Cop and Pretty Woman, which finally saw Eddie and Richard Gere. It's challenging for Murphy to play the respectable roles, to envision the distant actor playing such individuals, and he made the correct choice when he stated that certain jobs are inappropriate for him. Considering his modest beginnings and challenges in life, that you would consider the highly regarded actor would cherish his achieved notoriety, and you'd be shocked at how much money Al Pacino is currently residing in. The issue with those who are unexpectedly granted access to an incredible sum of money that they typically mistreat it. We've heard of stars and numerous other well-known individuals who were Al Pacino was among those who were left in debt, them for a while at least. In his Sonny Boy's autobiography is a memoir that the actor described his opulent lifestyle, squandering money on items he didn't actually require, a few expensive vehicles, several smartphones, and even 2 houses whose upkeep alone cost him $400K a month, struck him forcefully after realizing that he only had at least $90,000 in his bank account. The actor was aware that he contributed to his sorrow and acknowledged his ignorance. Despite having little money, he did several attributes, which also meant he had to make an absurd mortgage payment. I had no idea how money worked, any more than I knew how a profession worked, Pacino stated in his autobiography, was a language I simply couldn't understand. In 2011, Pacino reached his lowest point ever, was regrettably forced to use an accountant who was occupied with managing a Ponzi plan that resulted in the latter's Pacino's arrest and prison sentence, disclosed that he has over $50 million in the bank and an astounding quantity of costs. This financial snag caused him to undertake any initiatives simply because he may regain control of his finances. Among his contentious selections of the 2011 comedy, Jack was the project at that time. Jill, in which he co-starred with Adam Sandler. The film was seen as a failure, receiving a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 3%. Many of Pacino's admirers were taken aback, understood the performer was particular about his roles, and thought highly of himself, which is, why is he playing the lead in a comedy film? A badly worded one by itself was a bruise. What's his flawless film credit? The fact that he played a role is even worse. That is an overly dramatic portrayal of him, causing onlookers to wince at his endeavor, despite Jack and Jill's failure at humor. Pacino was proud to share the film. He took the necessary actions to obtain himself. Pacino was debt-free and had nothing but positive remarks regarding his co-star Adam Sandler, and accepted all of the criticism, comments about Jack and Jill walking hand in hand, in addition to playing whatever part he might. Pacino also appeared in advertisements, conferences, and even made a sale of one of his properties to settle his obligations, which required a while, but Pacino now discovers himself on a more stable financial foundation. The errors from previous years were arduous lesson for him. In addition to, he also secured a number of profitable deals, such as his HBO contract, which gives a healthy $10 million for each film, and his performance in the 2019 motion picture, The Irishman, further obtained a $20 million salary for him. However, of all the initiatives in which he participated, Al Pacino disclosed that his efforts on Scarface kept him aloft throughout. During his difficult financial times, even in his autobiography, he described how if he had been as a typical individual, he could have resided on the leftovers from that film. On top of the other was Godfather Scarface. Crime film that's well liked by the current hip-hop scene, which provides evidence of the film's popularity and influence over the years. Even Pacino himself told the BBC how he would have liked to have prevailed. The Oscar he received for playing Tony instead of playing Montana appeared in the movie. Scent of a Woman features a blind veteran, where he won the Best Actor award. Despite being well known, Al Pacino prefers to keep his private affairs private, which include his family and connections. There is, of course, occasionally, information is passed by reporters, but it's also a nationally recognized, the actor's never married status. Let's examine his past relationships, and you would be shocked to learn about his Pacino's most recent spouse dated a number of Hisco stars, but his first known. There was a romance in Hollywood with Jill Clayburgh. They spent some time together before the actor's explosive growth in 1972 as a result of The Godfather. He dated a co-actor quickly. Tuesday. Welled for a few minutes before going on to Keller and Martia Keller. Their bond was similar to that of a cat and a dog. They weren't exactly friendly. During Bobby Deerfield's filming, however, it turns out that the two only required time to learn more about one another. After 2 years of dating, Pacino eventually went on to Diane Keaton, his next love. The latter fell deeply in love with her co-star, whom she finds funny, endearing, and a talking non-stop. She told people how she was upset with him, but similar to his past associations with women, their Caton's relationship was somewhat difficult. Made a marriage-promoting ultimatum. However, when the performer refused to commit, she chose to end it in spite of their difficult partnership when they were the two actors stayed pals when they were youngsters. Even now, after Caton, Pacino grew romantically involved with the performing arts Jan Tarrant, his teacher, also gave birth to his 1989, saw the birth of a daughter called Terrence and Julie Marie Pacino's. The relationship was somewhat quiet, thus not, their friendship, was well recognized. We do know that Julie Marie is attractive beside her father and carried on his acting career. From there, he also dated a producer and hostess from Australia, Lindell Hobbs, and had a love relationship to his co-star Penelope Ann Miller. In Pacino, also dated Beverly in Carlito's Way, D'Angelo, and had a child of his own, twins Anton and Olivia. For the second time on, D'Angelo even got a divorce on January 25, 2001, her former spouse, in order to spend time with Pacino, but regrettably, even Dog Day, they couldn't commit to her in the afternoon. Separated in 2004, but they're still doing well. Terms today, proceeding to his subsequent. The Argentine actor was dated by Pacino's partner. Lucila Pac was an excellent guide to Camila Morone, Pac's daughter. Although Pacino and Pac's romance didn't advance further and quickly return to, Pacino thought the dating scene was fantastic. Israeli actress Mital's friendship Dohan. In 2018, they were seen together, but ultimately parted ways in 2020, with Dohan points to their significant age difference as the cause of their separation to a lot of people's. The 83-year-old actor was truly surprised. Once more became a parent for the fourth time to his girlfriend, Noor, age 31 Al-Fala, on June 15, 2025. A few individuals are horrified by the two's 53-year. The two didn't mind the age difference, but only similar to all of his other partnerships. Pacino no longer has a romantic relationship with Al-Fala. According to one of his representatives, his agent was swiftly adding that the two continue to be extremely excellent friends and have been for many years. Co-parenting Roman, their kid, despite. For his age, the actor is still in good health. Pacino nearly died from CO-19, disclosing in a CNN interview yesterday how he nearly passed away from it last year. Remembered how he was having trouble one instant, but by the next one, he was without. He is fortunate to have his assistance. Phoned for assistance and an ambulance right away. Swiftly traveled to his residence, and it took minutes to care to his requirements. Prior to the actor, who was taken aback too, he had 6 paramedics surrounding him, and 2 medical professionals could recover consciousness, which he subsequently disclosed to how he questioned whether he had passed away. Then numerous additional thoughts regarding the afterlife, even though it's way Al Pacino's performance after his senior year, no indication that it will cease any time soon. The trailer for his most recent movie, Ritual, was just released, showcasing the seasoned performer in a timeless and abandoning his typical mobster attire in the Pacino will play the part in the film of Father Theophilus and need to put in effort alongside Father, played by Dan Stevens' Joseph Steiger, whose religion is erratic. Abigail also joins the actors. Ashley Greene and Cowan. Based on the trailer alone, we might anticipate some quite brutal and heavy scenes together, with physical terror, as demonstrated in some excerpts from Abigail Cowan's. David Mell directed the character Emma. The Ritual will debut in theaters. Premiere on June 6, 2025. According to the teaser, the movie Isis also praised for being based on a true story, as the scariest exorcism that he also discussed American history, ideas regarding the future of the industry, and to be honest, he doesn't. Take note of the industry's use of AI to duplicate long after he's passed away. Pacino placed his trust in his kids, expressing how he believes in them and that they would look after of it, in contrast to many renowned performers who exaggerate things they are able to and is unable to play. The Godfather actor only stated that he has no interest in, regarding the sector itself, According to Pacino, Los Angeles without, he actually thinks that movies are impossible. It would continue to endure through the years because of Martin's efforts. Francis and Quentin Tarantino's Scorsese. Despite the last one's most recent, the Megalopolis project was bombed in theaters. Regarding acting's future, he names Adam Driver and Leonardo DiCaprio as two actors that he greatly respects.